Hey, what's up? It's Rashad and Tony. Yo, we told y'all we'd be back.
Yes, we
MC
did.
Collective, X-Men 97, episodes 1 and 2. To me, my X-Men. What's the name of the second episode?
Mutant Liberation begins.
Yeah, man. All spoilers. Got to talk about the thing to talk about the thing. Went back and watched, some of the older episodes from the original run, and I was like, man, feels good to be back. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of nostalgia. Got some feels. Heard the song several times. I was like, man, like I'm good. So woke up at like 3:30 this morning because I don't know, I just body said, nah, you gonna wake up right now. So went to the gym early, got home, put on the daggone my ye old computer and sat down to watch X-Men 97. And Tony, these bastards went and put an overture on the daggone X-Men theme. I was like, what is this? So what is this lead in? I don't know what that is. That's an overture. And then the song came in. I was like, oh, very familiar. Yeah, new intro. Got our new members in that joint. Well, new to the intro. Team
Mm-hmm.
members in there. You know what I'm saying? Got Morph. We got
Bishop,
Bishop in that joint. Bishop with the F boy haircut. You know what I'm saying? Little sponge fro popping off.
the Duke
Yeah.
National Championship haircut, is it
Yes,
called?
yes, 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 yes,
For those of y'all who don't know
yes.
what I mean by that, the last national championship Duke won. I think like Jaleel Okafor and it was on that team. Everybody on that team had the like haircut where you use the sponge brush to get the thing that the kids are doing now. And like me
Hmm.
and some other guys, we just refer to that as the Duke National Championship, saying
Yeah, man.
hairstyle.
Yeah. So I was just real happy just to be back. And these first two episodes, man, did not disappoint at
I just
all.
I just want to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Just want to read a text message I got. The first text message I got was from you, of course, Rashad. And your text message, I was at work. It was like 6:29 a.m. to be precise. Uh, and I just get a text message from you that says, "You about to be so happy." Shed a tear emoji. And I was just like, X-Men, exclamation point. And you got Idris Elba gif, slow clapping. I said, yes. Next thing you know, I get a text message probably around 12-ish,
Yeah.
12:30ish today, 12:15 today. I'm getting off work from my boy Jason. He's been on the show before when we
Shout
did the
out
Mutant
Jason, man.
stuff. Shout out Jason. And this is what he says. I'm not sure if you had time to review it, but X-Men 97 is freaking excellent. And I just texted him back because I had just got my car on my way home. I said, plan when I get home. That's all I said. Plan to watch when I get home. And good God Almighty, you and Jason were not lying. I mean, it I got all the feels watching this. If you watch the previous show that we did yesterday, where I talked about my love for the X-Men and how like I just love the X-Men and how X-Men, the animated series, that this is a not a spinoff but a continuation of, meant so much to me. And my God, these two episodes, it was like I was that 13, that 12-year old up into 97. So 12-year
Mm-hmm.
old up to like 16-year old watching this show back from 92 to 96, 97, whatever, man. And I mean, good God, it was such a great way to, it was a masterclass in continuing a story that us from this generation have grown to love and respect. And
Yeah.
they did not cut any corners. They didn't make it campy, and it they just kept it. It's like the ball just kept moving, man. What my man Jordan Belfort saying, Wolf of Wall Street. The show goes on, not going nowhere. show goes on.
Oh man.
That's exactly what happened. The show goes on.
And that's like a really good way to say that because that was my fear. I'm like, yo, I wonder how much they're gonna try to meddle with this.
Yes.
And it was like, hey guys, we know y'all really love this thing. Not only did you love it, but y'all love all aspects of it. Like even the first episode, jumping right into it, to a conflict with a familiar foe, got the friends of humanity back at it again. And these boys went and found Sentinel technology. Your man had a whole Sentinel hand in the warehouse. You know what I'm saying? I said, what in the hell is going on out here?
You actually see like a leg too. Like if you there's another scene where it's like, but it's covered up, you know, and it's real quick if you miss it. But yeah, man, dude, so, let's just get into it, Rashad. So the first episode is To Me, My X-Men. And for all y'all that know that are X-Men fans, you know that was Charles Xavier saying whenever it was time to ride out, basically, you know, just like Captain America was his Avengers, a symbol to Charles Xavier, it was To Me, My X-Men. So basically, a year has passed since Charles Xavier has what the world believes died. What the world believes died because, like I said in episodes you need to see to understand this, you need to watch the very last episode of X-Men animated series, which was Graduation Day, where there was an assassination attempt on him. And basically, he was on his deathbed. There was no way to heal him on Earth, but the Shi'ar Empire, which we probably will see some more of this season, you know what I'm saying, this season. And that's basically Charles with Lilandra, who is Charles Xavier's feather bird hybrid alien girlfriend.
My boo.
She came down and said, hey, we can heal him. And they take him away. So we pick up right there. It's been a year. And due to Charles Xavier's assassination attempt, some people have kind of been sympathetic towards the mutant cause, because in the OG series, everybody was like, "Yo, F these," you know. It was very, you know what I'm saying, just given like it was the civil rights era where everybody hated black. You know, most white folk hated black folk and everything like that. So, but ever since Charles Xavier died, there was some sympathy for people like, yo, this dude really did preach mutant kindness and stuff, and how could they shoot this and kill this guy right here? So, you know, and they're saying so they're saying stuff that, hey, also some mutants have been found missing. Some not found missing, but some mutants are missing and people can't find them. And what do we see? We see our good old friends, the FOH, the Friends of Humanity trash asses, dragging this
FOH.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Fuck out of here. That's what they need to be called. Friends of Humanity. Fuck out of here. So they dragging a young Latino mutant. They got a dampening collar on him so his powers can't be used. And this dude is like, he's an affluent young man. He comes from money and stuff. And he's like, hey, man, hey, you know, my parents got money, baby. You know, what do you want? And I got it. You pay you or whatever. And these people, the FOH is so trash. They were bringing in mutants and collaring up because it was like, oh, yeah, their leader want to use them for target practice. What?
He was like, oh, you think this is about money?
Yeah, it's about money. No. And so, you know, they're about to get ready to have their way with Roberto is the young man's name. About to have his way with young Roberto and everything. And the next thing you know, you hear thunder and lightning outside, and you see the FOH kind of looking like, oh, damn, we know what the hell that is. It sure ain't Thor. So next thing you know, African queen herself, Storm, comes in. And one thing about Storm on this show, and even going back to the OG series, I always found hilarious and slightly annoying, but also hilarious, how she always gave a grand speech when she came. It's
she be monologuing like a mother. Yo. I'm like, wow, I hear just making your presence known for real.
Yeah. He's like, the only witch you see is me, and stuff like that. Everybody's like, what? And so, she's trying to help out, and then next thing you know, one of the dudes say, hey, one thing about these X-Men, if one of them around, another, it basically almost like saying that they're like roaches. If you see one, it's a whole bunch more coming. So X-Men come, they free the kid or whatever, and they take him back to the X mansion, and Cyclops is now the de facto leader of the X-Men or whatever. And so Cyclops, God, once again, they've done such a great job in doing Cyclops. Let me tell you about Cyclops. Cyclops is a character, either you like him or you hate him. There's no in between with him. A lot of girls like Cyclops. They're like, oh, he's so brooding, this and that. And a lot of dudes, we kind of like, hey, yo, man, F out of here, dude. Goggles, man. It ain't that, like, it's serious, but yo, you need to learn how to chill and take a relax. So he's roaming around. He comes in there, and our boy Gambit, he doing what he should have been doing all along. He in the kitchen cooking,
making beignets.
Some beignets there, baby. And he in there making some. Cyclops is like, hey man, we could have used you. And this and that. And he's like, man, you had some of the heavy hitters with you, baby. You cool. We said, we gotta eat. And then Rogue, him and Rogue apparently are like a thing now, whatever. He's no longer being super pervy and creepy like he, like he was. And he's like, hey there. And she like, yeah, it's back off, Cyclops type stuff, whatever. And then next thing you see a pregnant Jean Grey come around, and you're like, oh boy, and like
she like third trimester pregnant.
Yeah. She like, yo, if she sneezed, that baby is coming out, Jack.
No, the old folks said, that's something that baby hanging low, girl.
That baby hanging low, girl.
You about to have that baby any day now.
Have that baby. And so,
go out do some walking.
Right. You got all that got all that going on. And then like they go to the lab to check on the kid and like, hey kid, like, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Like, hey, yo, what's your powers? And he just doesn't tell them what his powers are. He's just like, look here, man, let me out of here. And they're like, hey man, yo, them folk might be still after you. You gonna want to chill for a little bit. And he's like, man, I got money. I'm not worried about, said I ain't worried about it. They're like, yo, bro, just shit. He's like, oh, so I'm a prisoner here now. And so he basically kind of bonds with Jubilee, because this is kind of almost like the very first episode of the OG series, what happened with Jubilee, where she didn't want to believe the X-Men and she didn't join. Very
annoying.
Very.
She was annoying that first episode. I'm like, come on,
well,
girl.
just like this kid is too, man. Like, being stereotypical teenagers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't tell them nothing or whatever. And so, the X-Men, and the thing is I love about this show is doing what the X-Men, you see the interaction between the X-Men and how they're having fun and stuff. And so this kid was like, all right, I'm here. Well, as long as I'm here, what is there anything to do fun? Jubilee takes this motherfucker to the danger room. What are we doing here, Jubilee? She was like, hey, so let's see what those powers are. And he not believing what's going on. He thinking, man, this some type of illusion. And that Sentinel came. Now it was Magneto. It was like a Magneto, and he threw like a and this wasn't a real Magneto, but this is a danger version of Magneto. Throws like a metal beam at him, and he ducks him like, yo. And she's like, give me those powers. Tell us the powers are. He like, man, I ain't telling you nothing. And then we see our good old favorite Savage himself, Wolverine, come. It was like, tell the lady what she wants to hear. And he thinking that Wolverine is like a simulation too. And he's like, shut down program. And he realized it won't. He was like, yo, man, what the hell is wrong with you? You pulled your blades out on me or whatever. And so, you got all that, going on. And the kid, and you just still see like Scott dealing with the fact of like being a leader. You see him meeting with the lady who's like the head of the UN in private with Jean. And he's like coming off real dickish, like in Cyclops fashion towards her. And she's like, hey, let me tell you something. She was like, me and Charles Xavier, I consider him a friend. And we developed, a repertoire, a rapport with each other. And so, just kind of chill out, man. We're working to try to get some of this stuff together because he wants to know how did these, FOH people get, Sentinel tech.
Yeah.
And so he's just being a dick about it. And then Jean is kind of telling him, like, yo, chill. And so afterwards, the meeting with the lady, Jean is talking to Scott, and she's like, hey, man, maybe it's time for us to step down, man. We've been here at the mansion since we were teenagers, yo. We grown, we married, we about to what she said they will always be our family, but we about to have a family. Like a family. And he's like, no, man, I'm the leader, or whatever. She's stuck on that nonsense, and he's pissed off that the other X-Men are kind of like, you know what it's like, Rashawn?
What's that?
I just thought about it, how they were acting, the other X-Men were acting. When the main teacher, when you have a class, is high school or middle school, and that teacher tells you, hey, I'm gonna be gone out for like medical reasons or something for like a month or something like that, and you about to get a long-term sub, and you're like, oh really? And you forget everything that teacher was like, and you start acting like a fool. They was partying, they was out there playing shooting hoops and stuff. And Scott is like, look at him. They're out there. Okay. And he's getting pissed off, and he's reminiscing at the X-Men, the first class, where I told you the first class was him, Jean, Beast, Iceman, and Angel. And like one of them, they start getting into a little fight, knock the picture off the wall, and he gets pissed and goes out. They was like, yo, what's going on? And of course, him and Wolverine. They still got their beef going. Wolverine's got, so said, Wolverine's like, yo, like basically like, yo, who put you in charge, bro? He says like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? He says, but yo, you don't be bossing me around and stuff, because during this time, that fight and everything, the kid, Roberto, is like, yo, I'm out of here. He sneaks out. So he basically says, hey, Wolverine, use your nose, use your powers to go sniff for this kid. Jubilee, you go with him. And then he looks at the rest of the X-Men like, yo, better yet, all y'all go get out of here and go get this dude. So they track this kid down to a rave, which first, did you see the glow sticks, Rashad? That's all.
Yes, I did.
I just wonder, how weak were you when you saw the kid with the glow sticks?
So weak. You know what I thought about instantly, right? White chicks. I just gotta dance.
I gotta dance.
Yeah, yo.
So they find the kid, and Jubilee's dancing with her, and she's just willy-nilly on the dance floor,
just using her sparkles
on the dance floor. We also see the FOH friend, the Friends of Humanity, like spot what's going on. Wolverine sees them too. Also on the balcony, kind of, you see Rogue, who's like looking down, saying, man, she's just longing for touch, because her and Gambit are together.
And Gambit is literally willing to risk it all.
Literally.
For some Rogue. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man is willing to literally die for it.
Yeah.
Like, dog,
that's exactly what's going to happen, sir.
Like, what are you doing, yo? Like,
hey, so I'm gonna keep this PG, but Gambit, soon as contact happened, bro, you are out. You are gone. You are done, yo. You going into a coma soon as contact happened.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. So to wrap this episode up, Jubilee's talking to this dude, and off camera, the X-Men handle the FOH dudes or whatnot. But also, they find out too that they're trying to figure out where the Sentinel program stuff is going, and Cyclops asks the
Gyrick.
Says, yo, do we know where Bolivar Trask is? And she brings up a call back to the first season. She was like, yeah, we haven't seen him since that time he tried to put the computer of Master Mode into Senator Kelly's brain or whatever. And so they say, yo, we got to go see this dude Gyrick. And the Cyclops, who was it? Somebody? It was Storm.
Cyclops, Storm, and Bishop was there.
And Bishop, they went to go see this dude, and he's in prison. He's being a jerk because he was the one that shot Charles Xavier. And he's like, hey, I ain't telling y'all nothing. Basically, he was like, shoot. He said, y'all, he said, y'all gonna replace us. Y'all, and like, oh, get out of here with this crap. And then so Scott was like, let me tell you something. He says, do it or else. And he was like, well, else what? He said, you like Charles Xavier? She was like, nah, I ain't like Charles Xavier. Oh, Jean has cerebrosoid, and she daggone gets in that man mind and start messing with him. But then something, and I think we're gonna come back to it, is blocking her from seeing something. She saw some coordinates of where they think a new master mold is being made, you know what I'm saying, being made. And she sends it, but she's like, yo, something else happened out there, because she started having weird, freaky visions about her child being born and all this stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they take those coordinates and they head out. It says out like in the Sahara Desert or something like that in Africa. And they're flying. And this is like the first time you see like really all of the X-Men minus Jean Grey together in like a long, like get ready to go into battle or whatever. Next thing you know, a Sentinel comes and rip their ship to shreds, Jack.
Yo,
Open that chick up
it
like
was out of nowhere. I'm like, where does Sentinel even come from? And
yeah.
and the fact that like that was their plan.
Mm-hmm.
Their plan was to get caught. And like,
Yeah.
and that's when I mean one of my favorite scenes of these two episodes was that scene, just them falling out in the sky, and was like, okay, here we go. So they road grab somebody, you know what I'm saying? Storm grab somebody, and Cyclops using his concussive blast to break his fall, like he Captain America out here. It made me so happy. I was like, man.
In the words of Daredevil, superhero landing. Superhero landing.
It was so good, yo. I'm like, man, this is such a great way to use his powers, because he did a couple other times too, like in the warehouse where he was using his blast to move around. I was like, that is so smart. You know what I'm saying?
Like he used it on the ground to kind of push himself back when they was attacking, all that stuff like that. And then that's when Cyclops says the line, come to me, my X-Men, and they all come and they just wreck shop on all those Sentinels. And then they, destroy Master Mold, and then they also get Bolivar Trask. Bolivar Trask is the person that created the Sentinels. Also in the film Days of Future Past, he was played by our favorite short person, Peter Dinklage or whatnot.
Yes, and he did an absolute amazing job.
Yeah. And so, by this time the UN government police or whatever comes, and they snatch up Bolivar Trask, and he's into his whole villain. You think this is over? People don't want to see this happen, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And so they get back to the X Mansion, and by this time Cyclops has kind of learned to chill out a little bit, and he apologizes kind of to the X-Men, like, hey man, I was kind of hard, but this and that. They get ready to play some hoops, and then an alarm goes off in the X Mansion, and they're like, yo, yeah, it's coming from Xavier's room. They run up in the Xavier room ready to run that fade whoever in there, and it's our old boy Eric Lesher, Magneto. And they're like, man, what the hell you doing here? And he was like, hey, man, he was like, look here, man. I'm just as surprised to be here myself and y'all, but just to let y'all know, this is Xavier's last will and testament, and all of his fortune, the mansion, the school, he left to me. He said, so y'all are now my X-Men. And you just look like, what? Fade to black into the first episode.
Yeah. Also, can't forget about your boy, Robert DaCosta. You know what I'm saying? The little, I think he's Brazilian because he speaks Portuguese.
Brazilian. Yeah.
And his he has some sort of like solar type energy for his power.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ends up in the comics, he ends up becoming the X-Men known as Sunspot.
I'm about to say it's probably Sunspot. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll probably see him circle back around sooner than later too. Man, let's move right into episode 2, man. Ooh. And this episode right here is just so funny because it's like, what is Magneto's plan? Like, what is Magneto trying to do? Because it seems, because we already know Magneto, he not no dumb dude, yo. It feels odd. You know what I'm saying? It really does. Also, because okay, so when I saw this, I was like, all right, and they already talked about Genosha a couple of times in this episode as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's mutants on Genosha. Then Genosha is going to be in the UN at the end of this episode as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of even followed how the comics how that became like a safe haven for mutants.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying until it didn't. But yeah, yo, like he's almost playing like this again mutant liberation.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving him like the Marcus Garvey role. You know what I'm saying? We're sending
Yeah.
everybody back to like to Africa, going to Liberia. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happens to Liberia. So it's a lot of those parallels. I'm not sure if those things are intentional or not when they was writing this in the comics, but yeah, that's kind of how I viewed your boy this episode.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's it's playing like it's a redemption arc.
But it's just too convenient. Even like how
Right.
he say to people on the Ferris wheel. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Everything seems so planned.
And then he saved the Morlocks as
That's
well.
what I'm saying.
And
Like,
see,
don't
and
nobody care
see,
about them.
and see, that's the thing about this series, going back to the OG series, they have always stayed as true as to the comics as possible. And the Morlocks are mutants, but some of them are mutants that really don't have no powers. They're just some disfigured, weird looking.
They just ugly.
They're just right, disfigured, weird looking. You know what I'm saying? Weird looking creatures or whatever. And so, and so in the comics, Magneto don't really give a damn about those people one bit or whatever. Also, staying true to the comics, going back to the first episode, real quick, one quick thing. When Storm came to wreck shop on them Sentinels, I love that the Sentinel said, sensing Omega level mutant.
So good.
So good because there are a few mutants that are Omega level, which means that their powers are limitless and they just keep evolving their power. Some of the known Omega level mutants that I know of myself and Rashad probably know, Storm is Omega level mutant, Magneto is Omega level mutant. Believe it or not, excuse me, Jean Grey is an Omega level mutant. Mm-hmm. Charles Xavier, believe it or not, this person, a lot of people are surprised. Iceman is an Omega level mutant. So I thought that was awesome. And you saw what she was turning basically with the lightning bolts hit the sand. It was turning into glass and turned like a glass tornado to shred them up. But I'm sorry, just
that was a dope. Yeah, I forgot we didn't even talk about that's a dope scene, man. Like when I mean how they built up Storm, you know what I'm saying, in these two episodes to really punch us in the throat at the end of the episode. So like we see this whole journey, because really, to be honest, this episode is really Magneto's episode.
Yeah,
and everybody trying to figure out what his motives are. You know, even Bishop was like, yo, I seen a lot of futures. I ain't never seen this before. You know what I'm saying? So
I ain't never seen no future with Magneto in charge of the X-Men.
Everybody's confused, man. And it's funny because Rogue is like, yo, hey guys, we should kind of give your boy Eric another shot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And yeah, what you call this, like, what?
Yeah, like what?
Oh yeah, Gambit is looking at her like,
the hell this dude that put us through or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So it's funny, man. And then he's talking about Magneto's talking about, how can I improve the X-Men? How can I improve Genosha? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we get like public opinion to sway? I'm really trying to like hold true to the facets and the tenets of my friend Professor Xavier, because he wanted this, human mutant to yo, your man, every time he about to say the word coexist or coexistence,
yeah,
he wants us to throw up.
Yeah, he
was like, go.
Yeah.
Go. He's like, I'm not a fan of this word. So they're still trying to figure all that out. And like, yo, your boy, yo, Cyclops is pissed, yo. He's like, man, how does man come in here and take my spot in one day?
Right.
And like, Cyclops said, Jean, he said, hey man, how about you go read that bastard mind? And she was like, he may have good intentions right now. That don't mean I'm gonna have. and he said, do it every day. He was like,
yeah, she's like, we'll do it every day then or whatever, you know.
he's like,
So
man, Gene, you don't calm your ass now. Cyclops. And
right.
like, and Magneto is out here looking like a bad bitch with his arms out, these
Sexy as
gloves
hell.
on, this
Yeah.
scarf, this like scarf cape, and his hair down. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. The luscious white locks just flowing.
just just strutting his stuff. And funny thing about that, I didn't really realize how old Rogue was. I'm like, how old is Rogue? Because
I don't think we really know how old she is.
we don't know,
We
especially keep
don't
on
know.
zapping people powers. So she probably had like some sort of like delayed,
Well,
aging.
I think it's known that all mutants, when they, saying they all have some type of enhanced like durability, and their age does kind of last
Yeah, they
a
age
little
longer
longer.
because
What we saw,
yeah.
what okay,
Uh-huh.
so it's nighttime in the Xavier mansion, and
X Mansion after
Magni
dark.
your X Mansion after dark. This the type I told. This is the type of stuff I love about the X Men. What did I say this, Rashad?
You
Like they're
did.
all, yeah. So like Magneto's in formerly Professor X's office, which is his office now, and he's like just levitating his helmet, that the helmet that we all know and everything. And Rogue comes in and she's like, I remember this right here. And he's all like, I'm surprised you came in here. You think it's a good idea for us to be singing together? And I was looking like, the hell is this? I was like, what the hell is this going on right here? And he's like, as the young folks say, he risen her up and she giving it right back. And then he was like, started like going on her glove, sliding her glove down. And she said, no, Eric, that's in the past. And I was like, hold on. Did Magneto and Rogue, were they a thing? And I said, he is really like willy-nilly and about to touch her, like it won't gonna affect. And so next thing you know, some choppers come, they go outside, and Magneto like, X-Men, prepare for battle. Cyclops is like, hey man, we don't fight our friends, yo. Like it's
Hey,
cool.
also,
Uh-huh.
Gambit saw her leave the office too. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He
Your
saw it
man
even
was
twice. He saw it the first time, was like, So
your man was out here like, I saw you walking in
I'm gonna have a song for you at the end when we see
tricks
what
the
happens.
kids.
And so this, and so basically, it's the UN lady, and they got the UN like I guess security force, and they're like, hey man, like you need to answer for your crimes against humanity, bro. Like cool, you saved some folk, but you actually was getting ready, and that was in the final episode of the first season. You was getting ready to start a daggone like war.
You better have a whole
It's
revolution out
the
here. You know what I'm saying?
revolution out here and stuff. And he's like, look, man, this and that, I'm just here to prove that I'm a good guy. And they like, yeah, our weapons aren't affected by your metal. He says, oh yeah. He turned them choppers and blades towards them, and he was getting ready to slice and dice them folk up like it was Shogun. But anyway, he looked at Scott. He says, if I get my due process and I'm found not guilty, will y'all leave me the hell alone? And it was like, yeah, she was so sure, like, yeah, we'll leave you alone because we know this is not gonna happen. And he's like, all right, fine. I turned myself in. And the X-Men were even shocked, like,
The hell is
wait a
what
minute.
is going
What
on?
the hell? What the
And
hell?
that's what I was saying as I was watching. I was like, yo, it feels like he is really orchestrating this because this is too convenient.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that should have tipped us off, but like I just was so excited watching the show when like before this, not Rogue, before this, Gene and Storm are having a conversation, and he's like, "Yo, we scared y'all gonna bounce." You know what I'm saying? About had his kid, and Storm was like, "Man, sometimes I romanticize thoughts of leaving it all behind," and she was like, "Well, nah, but then when I think about it, I still want to be an X, I still want my powers." And Gene is like, "I just want my son to have a normal life. You want your son to be a human?" And she was like, sometimes I do. And she was, and as we know, That boy Nathaniel ain't gonna be no human. You know what I'm saying?
Nathaniel ain't gonna be no
Nathaniel
human.
gonna be a hell of a mutant. You know what I'm saying?
So what we get is we see that they have the saying, I guess, what, the tribunal with at the
Yeah.
UN, and like the UN leader is spitting hot fire. She's out there like this and that. And so Wolverine and Jean Grey are the only ones at the mansion. All the other X-Men are basically at the UN just to make sure that
Everything
Magneto
goes
ain't got
straight.
nothing, everything goes straight. Magneto got up his sleeve or whatever. And they're talking. And here's the thing. Wolverine.
What is wrong with this man?
This dude, like, all right, my man, we get it. You love Jean, but that ship has way passed. She's with Scott. This woman is basically about to drop a baby, bro. But he is still lusting and wanting Jean. And Morphin even made a joke on him, but like,
He did.
it was like, oh, you're mad at the perfectness of their relationship, and they're about to have a baby. And like Morph is just like, and then Wolverine is like, keep it up, Buff. He's ready to he's pissed off at the thought of this. And here's the thing. Why are you giving Jean the cold shoulder while she's like, is there any updates? Nah. He was just like, hey, but yo, the UN chick, she's bringing up like Magneto's greatest hits.
Cooper. Yeah,
Cooper. She's bringing up Magneto's greatest hits. He's like, I don't know if he gonna get out of this. And then she was like, well, we just got to see this and that. And he's like, yeah, huh? Yeah. And he's just being like an asshole to her. Dude, get over. I get it, Wolverine. Get over it. And so then we get inside the the UN building where the case is going on, and you see the other X-Men, they're like off in the balcony just making sure things are cool. And then Gambit's like, hey there, hey, it wouldn't be so bad if he does get convicted. We'll have to deal with him. And Rogue is like, come on, Gambit. And she's like, I was like, girl, you are not doing yourself any favors, right? You doing yourself any favors right now. So while that's going on, the FOH and the other nut jobs are outside there, the building, basically just like, protesting. They're saying, yo, why he's going to case, lock this dude up. He needs to be out of here. And the guy that is, I guess, the new leader of the FOH, who had the Sentinel tech, he's like has a special gun he's working on, and he's telling these people, hey, I just need y'all to get a distraction. I get up in there, you give me, all I need is one shot. That's all I got is one shot. And you know what I'm saying, we're gonna fix this problem right here. So, they tell Magneto, and he was like, so how do you want to defend yourself? And Magneto gives a very compelling argument. Believe
your man is up there just giving a riveting speech. Again, it feels like he was really practicing for this. Like, he feel like he's been in the mirror for days, just rehearsing his speech. I mean, it's a damn good speech.
Again, almost threw up at saying
yes, still couldn't get over saying coexist.
About to throw up there saying it again. He was like, look here. He says, y'all want what's best for y'all, for your people. He says, that's all I want. He says, but you know what? My actions are basically retaliation for the BS y'all done. And I mean, he's making a good point. And then he started showing, he said, y'all created these. They had the Sentinels, say he had video of the Sentinels. He says, look at this people. You got these people here, these terrorists here attacking, helpless mutants and stuff like that. And he's like, yo, the X-Men ain't done nothing but help y'all, for real. And y'all are just causing hell. He was like, listen, I know that, Charles Xavier wants us to, and he says, I've had my ways of doing things, but he was a dear friend, and it's making me realize that maybe we could do things different. And why they had to have one dude that's on the committee, Rashad, to have that deep South Alabama racist accent?
Because you already know.
Yeah, you already.
Your man out here like Strom Thurmond. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so, while all that's going on, the Friends of Humanity, they create a diversion, and they're like breaking in, and they're causing ruckus out there. And then the X-Men hop in the plane like, yo, we need to go ahead and like get this like try to help get this under control, like peacefully and resolve this. And then he's like, all right, Storm, you stay here and you kind of make sure stuff with Magneto. We're gonna go out here and do this. And also, too, you saw a touching moment earlier in the episode too, where Storm was the first one to, besides Rogue, because we know why Rogue was, but Storm was the first one with no real connection to Magneto. Be like, yo, if the professor did it, maybe we should give him a chance and this and that. We don't trust you. And he's like, you're the closest thing to a god to a goddess that we know. And he was like, if I gotta prove anything to you, I have no problem doing that. Magneto said that to her, kind of.
Again, that should have tipped us off.
Yeah, and so right, so the Friends of Humanity busting through, and we trying to get them, and then the main dude comes.
Executioner
calls himself the Executioner. He has an armor that blasts don't work on, and he's like maneuvering, and they taking some of the X-Men out. And in the meantime, Jean and Wolverine are seeing this, and Wolverine got pissed off about something Jean said and was like, "Oh, he's here." Wolverine is such an idiot. He's such an idiot. Yo, Jean is like, killed. Don't Wolverine say he's here. He hops up. Who's here? Pulls his blankets out.
Apocalypse.
That's the
Tony. Out of all the villains, this man pulls Apocalypse out of his butt crack. You would have, Apocalypse.
Who's here? Apocalypse. He was.
I was like, this man is so goofy, man. Like,
and she would look at him and said, "No, the baby," like that. He was like, and then she just telepathically threw some keys and a coat at him. Yo, Wolverine was like, "Oh snap!" But Uncle Wolverine, he became clutch. He hopped in the plane. He driving like a maniac, and then Jean has a telepathic link with Scott. Scott was getting his ass kicked for a hot second until other people until I forgot which X-Men came and kind of was it Jubilee or it was somebody.
No, it was Morph. It was Morph.
Yeah, Morph. Because Morph was just switching back and forth between different mutants.
He was like the little Native American girl, then he was Cyclops, then he was Psylocke.
He was Psylocke. Yeah. And then the previous episode we saw him as the Blob and we saw him as Archangel and stuff. Stuff. So she's telling him, Scott, the baby is coming, like, let's go. And so, he communicates to Storm, hey, I gotta get out of here. Jean having the baby, and then he was like, all right, Rogue gonna, just like, all right, don't worry, Rogue gonna go take you. And so Storm then looks at the union and said, look here, put a guard at every daggone door, this and that. Hey, take this collar off of him so he can help. And the dude was like, well, who do you think you are? And she went into one of her other passionate speeches, is like, who do I think I, it's like, yo, like, shut the hell up and get this stuff. And so basically let him go. While they're fighting and battling at the UN. Jean Grey is at the hospital about to deliver this baby. And Wolverine is snapping, holding the doctor up like, the hell you mean you're not going to deliver this baby? Now, granted, I'm going to say this. That is a very good reason why the doctor said, was it trash? Two things can be, something can be right and wrong at the same time.
Yeah, two things can never be true at the same time. Yeah.
Was it wrong that he denied her care to deliver the baby? Yes.
Yeah.
But the point he made was like, look here, you mutants going in labor and stuff like that lose control of your powers. And I don't know where her powers are, and I don't know what's going to happen here. So I understood what the doctor was coming from. As trash as it was, why? But I really understood it. And so by this point, Cyclops comes to Rogue, and she like, yo, this dude ain't gonna help me deliver the baby or whatever. And so Cyclops does the most wild thing ever. Hey, Rogue, go ahead and touch him and take his medical knowledge. And she's like, what? She's like, but what if I touch the baby? Hey, we don't care about that. Do this. So she touches the dude. The dude like, what you trying to do? Drop him into a coma, gets his medical knowledge, and starts telling the nurses, I need an IV, get this stat, boom, 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 boom. Go back to the daggone UN. The Friends of Mandy have busted in on the UN floor, and they're just, the X-Men are there kind of stopping stuff, wrecking shop,
Yeah,
whatever.
kind of like an insurrection.
Yeah, didn't it? Didn't it? And so, daggone, what happened? I thought Magneto started stripping the metal out the walls and stuff. I thought he was making like a robot or something like that, but they were giant like conductors, and he caged them up, and then Storm electrocuted to keep them caged up or whatever. And they're doing their thing, and the next thing you know, the executioner, he has a clear shot on Magneto. And this is where everything goes south. Storm sees it, and she says, Eric! And he shoots the gun, and Storm lets out this blood-curdling scream. You see, it was like a pink blast. You saw, like, it was almost like in Star Wars when Vader got electrocuted by the Emperor when he threw him down the pit in Return of the Jedi. You saw like the skeletal frame of her and stuff, and she fell down. And Magneto, look, he was able to kind of detain the dude or whatever. And Storm was like, yo, I don't feel nothing. I don't feel precipitation. I don't feel the air. I don't. She kept trying. And she was like, and it hit her what happened. Yo, at that point, I said, Magneto about to lose his shit, yo. Magneto snapped, but he still controlled himself. He took this dude and basically crucified him on a penny, on a giant like metal
like an emblem.
And then he laid out the, like, what I'm saying, the jury or
Yeah, the
whatever,
tribunal.
the tribunal folk, and was like, this is what we're talking about right here. He says, look what you did to her. He was like, did he call her a dear friend or something like that? I was like,
saying, like, he was like, it was so believable.
Milking it.
So believable, man. And like the funny part was, like, we as an audience thing, he about to go and straight kill these bastards. Takes him up into like
the atmosphere, like
I don't know, like
I could say that probably the atmosphere level right before oxygen is gone.
Like the lower stratosphere. I don't know.
Lower stratosphere, because it was you saw them starting to
shiver. So it was starting to get cold. It was probably like a good 2 miles up. You know what I'm saying? And he's still waxing poetic. I mean, y'all to this, y'all to that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ingrates, yada yada. I can step on you. He told Executioner, I can smite you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was really out here being biblical with them.
That's that Old Testament guy.
Yes, right, yes. He said, you know what I can do though? I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna let y'all back down. Which still seems so, it just seems so strategic. Because after that, it was like, hey guys, you had a little change of heart about your boy.
He's Magneto. Innocent. He's been acquitted.
He's a really good guy. And not only that, but we're gonna have Genosha, what all the mutants say. We're gonna invite them into the UN because we feel like we should be partnering with them as human mutant coexistence. And it just seemed way too convenient. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we got the scene where Beast is trying to kind of lay it easy to Storm. Like, hey, I gotta run some more tests. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that they had. The blast, it was like a concentrated blast. And he said, hey, it may be a while for you get your powers back. And she's like, stop playing games and tell me straight. Yeah,
stop playing in my face, yo, for real.
And he was like, hey, Hank said, look, your powers is gone, girl. I'm sorry.
Because basically the blast they used was a concentrated upgrade of what the I guess
the collars,
used for the dampening collars. Yeah. But they concentrated and made it more powerful into a blast where it basically restructures your genetic code.
Yeah.
It basically erased her X gene, say her mutant X gene or whatever. And I mean, it was just wild, and you just saw like I felt like literally like I almost shed a tear a little bit.
That's what
Like,
I'm saying. That's why like they really set us up for that so well. And that's like, and I
but why
mean,
I gotta be Storm though? That's another topic.
that was my initial issue. I'm like, yo, why those gotta be a black woman looking out for everybody each time, man? It's
Yeah,
always a black woman saving the day. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I know it's just probably just part of her arc. She probably getting her
yeah.
powers back,
And probably
but
because she's like the most one. She's probably one of the most powerful X-Men.
that
But it
too.
was,
So they had probably had to,
yeah,
to fridge her, so to speak. But yeah, man, like that right there. Um,
and the closeness of her and Jean, like really,
yeah,
it really
yeah.
cemented like how because they called each other sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and the sisters in this, and like she just didn't even harp. She was like, "Look, you've said goodbye so many times," which Jean has. When Jean like would have mental psychotic breakdowns and stuff before her powers became under control a little bit, she would lead X-Men. Also, what happened with the Phoenix stuff, she would lead the X-Men,
Mm-hmm.
and secretly, and Storm did, and she left a note and she left her earrings behind for her. Mind you, for her, and she said, "Hey, you need to break it to him." And she basically was reading the note, and you saw all the X-Men in there crying and just just not feeling it. You also saw a touching scene earlier where where Cyclops was getting some coffee and he handed a mug over to Magneto. And Magneto said poison. he said poison. He was like, "No, man, this is proving your point." And we also saw that the baby was born. Rogue was able to deliver the baby, and the baby's name is Nathaniel Charles Summers. So you see that, and like back to where everyone's crying and they're sad about this. Morph is like, "Hey man, it's gonna be all right. She just need to get some stuff out of her mind. She'll be back."
And even before that, what's your freaking Gambit was talking with Magneto. Magneto, he was like, yo, that bullet had your name on it, yo. You should be out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Mon
what we saw was during the monologue of during Storm's, Jean was reading Storm's letter she left behind. You see Rogue go back in that office with Magneto, and we saw something we didn't think could happen. Magneto took her glove off, and they actually touched hands, and nothing happened. And I was like, "Oh boy!" And then you see her leave the office again, and Gambit sitting there, and then Gambit did the saddest thing you could do. His card was in his hand, and it just dropped between his fingers, yo. You know what's going on in my head? Fuck that man that you love so much. I'm just saying you can do that. He was in his Marvin's room. He was in his Drake right there.
God,
he was hurt. He was Drew Hill. Somebody sleeping in my it was the way the card just slipped.
Why'd you do this to me?
I say, why, oh, why, oh, why, why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why,
baby.
Yo, hey, Rashad, hey, for real, Rashad, won't that sad how that card slipped through him 2 fingers, though? Gambit has done nothing but lust and love this woman since the first season. And Magneto comes in, and we find out that Magneto and Rogue have had something going on like in the past, and and then that's when Gambit had that venom for Magneto. Like, yo, that bullet had your name on it because it should have been you that died, and so it should have been you. And
Magneto like, oh man, I think he knows.
Magneto was like, ooh. He was probably like, bitch, didn't I tell you be careful leaving that thing over? And so. And so that's when Morph is saying, "Hey man, don't worry. This is just how it is. Blah 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 blah. Storm will be back once she sees what it's like to be out there with the regulars." That was the he said out there with the regulars. And the doorbell rang. He said, "See, it's her right there." Door opens up. It's goddamn Jean Grey, and she looks like she's been on fire. And she's like, "I need the X-Men. I need y'all to say." And she passes out. And then you see Cyclops like Cyclops he looked at the baby, and then he turned around and was like, "The hell is going on, man?"
Like
this show,
who cheeks I've been clapping the whole
yeah,
time?
who these cheeks I've been clapping? Hold on, you got Cyclops. Cyclops is wondering who cheeks he clapping. Daggone, we done found out that Magneto been clapping in the past as clap road cheeks. And what? But yo, don't say these 2 episodes gave me everything I wanted. The only thing it didn't give me, and I hope they play on to, they do it at least one time. The stereotypical Jean Grey. But they kind of did give us that at the end of the last second of the second episode, when she kind of passed out there, man. So
yeah.
I'm excited.
Man. Great 2-series starter. Strong entry, man. Like, man, hey, shout out Bo DeMayo, yo. He wrote the hell out of this.
I'm gonna just say, we don't know what happened. We don't know how problematic you may be.
He wrote the hell out of these 2 episodes, yo.
You weren't a problem. You weren't a problem writing these two episodes, sir.
Nah, man. This is just the conflicted nature of the world that we live in. And on that note, we will see you guys tomorrow. We're gonna be dropping Shogun episode 5. Man, y'all gotta get on that next week. Back with X-Men 97 episode 3. Getting ready at the end of this month for Godzilla X Kong. Yes. Tony, are you going to see Frozen Empire?
I'm gonna go check it out.
Ghostbusters.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Cool, man. I'm happy for you. But yeah, that's all we got for this one. Till the next time.
Peace.